Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia, and welcome back to our Saving the Tang Let's Play here in Crusader Kings 3 with the All Under Heaven DLC. And we hop back in without unpausing the game at all, and we'll try to hit that unpause button soon, but there's still a lot to do in the initial setup of the game, and we've been talking a lot about the history of the Tang Dynasty. We left off last time as we looked at our council, and we talked about how this all worked. Now, for gameplay purposes, we actually need to set their task. So for our Grand Chancellor, the Imperial Censor, and the Grand Marshal, the three departments, they're pretty similar to the previous functions in the game. Essentially, we're going to have him focus either on domestic or foreign affairs. And in this case, I think I prefer to have him do domestic because I want our many vassals to like us more. Instead of dealing with other independent ruler and gaining more prestige, we have plenty of prestige gains already, so another 0.55 I think, given his skill, 11 points of diplomacy. We'll just go for this instead and have a slow build up of our vassal opinion of us, so perhaps they will not, rebel against us in the future. Then for our Imperial Censor, he's the schemer replacement essentially. And usually, I think we just want find secret so we can get hooks. And we get to pick where we want him to look for the secret characters in that area. So we are in Jingzhou, which kind of means the capital district. And this is the city of Chang'an with some districts around. We can basically find secrets of people in our court, or we can look at the many counties on the map and get our vassals' secret so we can get hooks on them. I am not sure how to approach this because there are just so many choices. So at this point, I think we actually would just look at Jingzhou first and see if we find something here. I think the rate is a little bit faster here as well, right? Because you get 5 full points here instead of like 3.8 here, and it drops even more depending on the location. So let's see if we can find something in our own court. If any secret exists as court, 0%. Wait, 0%? No, that's different. I'm just trying to figure out why it's 0% here. I think it should work. Yeah, that's kind of weird, actually. Possible side effect is it's discovered that we're using Find Secret, which obviously would not go well. For our Grand Marshal, he's the military representation. I think this is the reason why they picked these 3 departments here. I don't think it's a closer representation of the Song Court either. I think it's just closer representation to the core game mechanic that already existed in the game. Here we want trained commanders. I think this is obviously the way to go. We don't really have any wars, and even if we do have a war, we're going to depend on our vassals for troop and not ourselves. Emperors rarely fight his own wars. That's why we have the bureaucracy. All right, and then if we train, we can increase our knights' effectiveness. We'll have to look at our knights a bit later on. We actually have the luxury of having so many daughters from Zhang Yichao's clan, who's part of our court, and we're going to marry them off. There's going to be a lot of marriages in this episode. We're going to play Matchmaker, have people come to our court through basically matrilineal marriages for the female and regular marriages for the male, and we'll add a bunch of characters that we can use for our court. And he's going to help train our knights and make them better. Now, here's where things change a little bit, because the 6 ministries are a little bit new compared to the core game mechanic. So their functions are going to look a little bit different than the standard gameplay from before the DLC. We have our Minister of Personnel, who can bestow loyal favor, and essentially it's a prestige game for us. His stats is terrible, so the points aren't going to be very good here. There's also a vassal opinion increase on this, which looks actually quite good. His diplomacy skill will actually go up by 2. That looks pretty good. Managed talent is the other option, where there is a yearly chance to find a skill character and point them to the court position. And it's only a 4% chance because he has 4 points in diplomacy. Absolutely terrible. we're not going to keep him on this. Unless he can replace himself, which would be great, but he's not going to do that. We'll go with this. And we have to bestow, right? We have to pick a region to bestow this, right? Let's see. So we pick like one vassal. Well, that is, So that one vassal gets a huge increase or slow increase on the vassal opinion. Who's our strongest vassal? That's the question now. Our subjects are many. The strongest here... I'm not sure if they're basing this on the right thing. Okay, so he's of Sichuan, the western part of Sichuan today. This is the Shu lands. He's based in Chengdu. He's going to be one of the Jiedushi. Sichuan was a Jiedushi region. Huh. Do I just take their word for it that he's the strongest military that we have? Let me take a look at a couple more to make sure that this ranking makes sense. Okay, Circuit of Lingxi. Can we move there? In Guilin today. Okay, let's see. So he has 300 man-at-arms plus 466. Why do I feel like that's more than the previous guy? Yeah. Interesting. Are they talking about individual strength? You know, another way we can do this is just based on their opinion of us, and we find someone who really dislike us, who is very strong, for example. It's based on realm size. Okay, that makes more sense. So he just owns 30-something realm. Okay. He controls multiple regions. Guannei is also his. Sichuan. He has 2 circuit level. Okay, so he controls 2 circuits. Alright, okay. I mean, he also dislikes us quite a bit. Having Sichuan safe is actually a pretty important part. You can see a split between the Western Chuan and the Eastern Chuan, Dongchuan right here. This altogether makes Sichuan modern day, I mean the Shu lands basically. And this is usually where the Emperor retreated if Chang'an comes under attack. I guess we can pick him. Let's see if we can make this work. Okay, let's see how this goes. See if we can improve our opinions. I mean, this is with our artifact equip plus 6 points. He just hates the fact that we're lazy. It's a short reign. It's been 6 years. He doesn't like the fact we like to party. Arbitrary also ticks him off, apparently. He desires more land, which is actually quite reflective of Jiedushi. But the fact that he wants Yongxing, which is kind of weird because I think that's the one that the capital is a part of. So do you want to rebel against us? He's quite old. He has no heir in this game. Ooh, wait, should we be targeting him? Because he's going to inherit that once the 76-year-old dies. Yes. Ignore the previous one. The Circuit of Annan. Decent amount of troop. Nothing too crazy, but if he's going to inherit more land, maybe we want him on our side. The old guy might as well just go die. I mean, fingers crossed he will pass away. 76 is pretty old. Alright, we can manage Loyal Guard. He's Minister of War, increasing our knight effectiveness over time. Also super weak Marshal. We thought 4 was bad. Here's 3 points. These are the best merit we can have in the land. And then we can have the garrison side increase, raise army maintenance cost decrease. Both not super useful, but I kind of like this. I like the fact that we're protected from schemes a little bit more. Up to only 6%, double of his points, which is pretty bad. Alright, Minister of Revenue, also a 4-pointer. We're going to get a couple double digits, but these guys are terrible. Promote cultural acceptance. Cao Que. Historically, actually one of the ministers. But the thing about the historical accuracy of this, like there's a couple names I do recognize, like Cui Shenyou was a minister during our father's reign, historically speaking, became prime minister in the later period of father's reign, got lost his position due to inner fightings between different court members, got assigned to be one of these jiedushi on the frontier, sort of an exile from the capital, came back during our reign to be ministers of like 3 different positions. Yes, he was Minister of Personnel for a period, but like these guys bounce around quite a bit. So it's like really hard to capture like who's where at a certain moment in history. So I think the developers tried their best. And he's also from the Cui clan. That's the famous one. Qinghe Cui clan. Very big clan in this period. And Cao Que was another one of these ministers in this period. Wang Duo was another one that I recognize the name. Yeah, anyways, let's see what he can do for us in-game. Promote cultural acceptance, yes and no. Important, yes, but like culturally speaking, I think we're fine. Like, what's the culture map gonna look like for us? Oh my god. Well, it's mostly Han, right? We got the Miaozu right here, Yizu over here, modern day, you know, ethnic minorities in China. Yaozu over here. Huh, what is this term? I'm not familiar with this term. Maybe Thai heritage. Okay. That term I'm familiar with. Another ethnic minority. This, I don't know what that represents. Sha Tuo. Yep. Sagadan. A lot of nomadic in the north. The Qiang people. I think culturally we're fine. I don't think I need to convert them. I mean, gameplay wise, it kind of makes sense to do it, but like I don't think we care that much. Okay, religion, I feel like they need to do an overhaul because it's actually kind of wild that they divided Buddhism into this many different sects that it doesn't even make sense at a certain point. Like, yes, there were a lot of like very minor sect of Buddhism, but like at least in China, there's like 2 main ones. Like there's Dacheng Fojiao, Xiaocheng Fojiao. But like by the time period, like we're in late Tang Dynasty. Like Dacheng Fojiao is like the main accepted one that happened ever since like Journey to the West. The whole purpose was because you had this debate internally in China of like how Buddhism should be, because it's a foreign religion that came slowly during the Silk Road trade, naval Silk Road trade, was introduced to China through the trade routes coming through Southeast Asia, landing over here, became big in the later periods of the Han Dynasty, got really big after the Jin, and then by this period, you had like all sorts of different versions of it, and they just wanted to send the Journey to the West group out to make sure they can go to the source of the religion, get the scriptures from the source and see how it should be taught, and then come back with that. So that's the whole purpose of that journey. And by this time period, it should be mostly aligned. They just went overboard with dividing it, which is why we have this very weird map. And I don't know which version we actually want to go for. And then on top of that, the ruling philosophy should be Jingxue. right? The study of scriptures. 经 could be scriptures or classics. Basically, 学 means study. It's the study of Confucian texts, essentially. And that should be all over the place, including Confucian's homeland. I guess they do have 经学 here, but like it's kind of crazy. And then Shangqing and Zhengyi are two different sects of Taoism, which is true. They are a big divide in Taoism at this point between the two, so that I'm fine with. Yeah, I don't know what to do about the religion part about the game, whether we want to spend time trying to make this one thing. I don't even think that benefit us that much. So I'm not so keen on either of these cultural ones. He's currently being sent to collect taxes. I like this. I like this. Convert territories. That's a pretty standard one from the base game. For us, I don't think we need to do this. So he's on collect taxes, I believe. He can stay on collect taxes. That's fine. Minister of Justice, what can we do? Fabricating claims and justify rule. Legitimacy gain. Well, that's actually pretty useful. Stay on that. Minister of Right. Explore culture. I mean, he's our best minister at this point. Culture reformation. Oh, we're not doing that though. We're not hybridizing culture. Converting faith. Yeah, trying to get the faith to match our ruler, which right now is Montriana. I'm not sure I want to do that, especially at the cost of development. And then we get religious relations. We get more piety. He's 经学, right? Okay. I mean, Confucian scholar, 经学 makes sense. But that is not our faith. It's weird to see 经学 as a faith, though. That's the thing, right? Confucian study, yes, I would say it's kind of equivalent to like the ruling philosophy. It's in people's mind. But like when I think of faith, it's more along the lines of like deities and supernatural, like belief and hope beyond like what's real. That's not Confucianism. So it's kind of hard to see 经学 as religion here. I mean, I would still pick this because I don't think I want to do any conversions. And I don't think I care about the culture hybrids. We're not going to try to change our culture. Speaking of the culture, we can look at the Han culture bonuses, which I'm sure changed from what it was before. I mean, there wasn't many Han on the map, but I'm sure they have different traits now. Minister of the Work, increased development. I love this one. I think we'll do that. Support great projects. We do need this to kind of maintain the dynasty cycle, but I think I would prefer to boost this. I also want to build some buildings in the capital. So let me first make the map pretty again. Don't want to see how the faith is tearing up the country. And we'll come down here and tell him to develop our city. Capital of Chang'an, which doesn't have great development levels yet. Only 30 point. Ooh, okay, it has room to grow basically. This will boost our tax and levy here, increase the supply limit as they grow. Definitely something we want to do. And once we hit 100, well, as we go up, like if it fills up, think of it as like a bucket overflow effect. It will start helping the development of other regions around it. This is the only domain that we own as Emperor. We're allowed to own more, but I don't think that's a priority. Usually when you're playing CK3, you want to own more land, build up your title. But like as the Emperor, it's all vassal based, so I think it's fine. The local faith is not my faith. That could be a problem. We could change our faith, or maybe just make sure our son, our heir, has the right faith. We'll try not to play as Li Cui for too long. His love for drinking and partying should send him to the early grave, hopefully. Historical, within 5 to, I think about 5 years he dies. We have a good amount of tax here. We have a unique building, the giant wild goose pagoda, 大雁塔. It's still here today. Obviously not the exact one. It's been rebuilt multiple times. It's pagoda. So it's a Buddhist structure where you house scriptures, monks would work inside to preserve the texts and also to write commentaries on the texts. I guess it's represented by this structure right here. That's what it would probably look like. And then we also have Bastion Curtain Wall, which increases tax, gives us fort level, -1 on danger, and our heavy cavalry does 10%. We haven't looked at what units we have. We'll look at that soon. There's so many things to look over as you start the game. We have some cities. We have a temple in Lantian, which is famous for jade. Oh. Mausoleum. It's our ancestors. This is our family tomb. This gives levy size, building construction cost decrease. Okay. More unique buildings. Although the way it's being represented here looks kind of weird. Right? That's not a special building. I guess they don't have a special art for it. Marketplace of Chan. This is the Silk Road Marketplace. Lantian has a mine. Good. It makes sense. It's known to have high quality jade. Exactly. Lantian Yu, as it's called. It's quite famous as a jade. And then we have Jinyang, which is just a regular city. And we have available constructions for a new duchy building. I am not sure what we want to build. And they all cost a lot of money. Somehow, strangely, exactly how much we have, which makes me feel kind of weird. If that's the case, we're definitely not starting with this, because I have other places where I want to put the money. We will have to take a look at exactly what we want as our duchy building. I mean, Dragon Cairn... Basically, we're making ceramics, or china, which makes sense. This usually isn't built near the capital. You have like designated areas where it's famous for its ceramics. The reason why those areas will be good is because the local soil is, special in a sense with its composition that makes better ceramics. And usually that's where the central government will appoint. I guess it's called Dragon Cairn because it's Guanyao. It's a government-owned cairn that makes the ceramics for the court. And then we send it out as gifts. Okay. Tax, development. Examination hall. If we're going to host a lot of this, which I think we might, the cost reduction sounds pretty cool. But I don't know it benefit us as an emperor that much. I'm still leaning toward just making more money. Yeah, but the costs, we're not thinking about this right now. Would we want to build some like basic buildings? Yeah, that we can actually afford. That can, in the long run, give us plenty of money, hopefully. We also have to consider like the end goal here. Some might have a very strong level 1, but by the end might be pretty bad. Things to consider. Not something I'm going to look at right now. I want to get my court set up. We got a physician last time. We picked from our available characters right now, but we have so many openings. They all cost salary, so we can't get everything, or else we're going to be very poor. But there's a couple positions I really want. So you can look at what the position effect is and also what task we can assign them to do. Some might not have any task, but they have sort of a base boost. This one seems to be mainly about our influence, which is useful for dynastic cycle projects that we want to push for, so increasing it. Now it's based on aptitude, so whatever stat's relevant for this position, the higher they have on that stat, the more boost we can get from it. So basically we'll assign a favor minister and we can get, well, they can get some bonuses. They have to be a have to be existing chancellor, so we don't have to recruit a new character for this. Aptitude is average. I'm guessing it's based on all the stats then, not just one that stands out. The other problem is all these court positions can be potential agents against us. So if they don't like us, we don't really want to put them there, which is why we picked her, or else they'll end up just scheming against us, and they will help whoever is scheming to make their percentage chance go up. I think in this case, we skip this for now until we get people who actually like us. We'll work on that. Keeper of Harem, it's going to cost us 0.24 gold per month, and also a little bit of prestige. And our spouses will like us. Interesting. Their job is to find concubines for us. The game allows up to 20 concubines now after this update. So we definitely want this. What is the aptitude for this position? Why are all of them terrible? They're looking for a trait. That's where we'll try to get characters to do these things. Yeah, there are a lot of court members. I probably want a grand tutor. Very expensive salary, like 0.6 prestige, 1 gold per month, which is a lot because we only make 4 or 3.9 right now. But look at what we get. We get stat boost, diplomacy boost, stewardship boost, learning boost. This feels very useful. We can recruit anyone from our court, and right now if you look at the aptitude, it's all trash and no one likes us. This is actually from our vassals. Does it have to be our vassal? No, it can also be people in our court. Okay, so let's do this. Let's start marrying people off from our court so that we can get new members that are going to have great stats. 22 diplomacy. We also have guests that when we look at that has really high stats, we can grab them and invite them in, pay them a little bit of money. Let's see what we can get. We have some potential Imperial in-laws. Li Yu's granddaughter, who we can maybe try to marry off. Needs to be matrilineal. And then we would like them to have, like, maybe if we want a good knight, we look for a high prowess character. I don't think we care that much about opinion right now because we're going to probably build it up. We just look for a high skill character that we can maybe use for something. Let's say we want a knight. He's 19. He has 19 prowess, 19 years old as well. He's currently one of our minister's marshal, but he's unlanded. We can try to snatch him over. Marrying a 60-year-old Imperial princess. Let's see. I'm guessing he's not going to say no to this. Yep, we'll accept, and that's really all we need. We got ourselves a potential knight. And then we're going to do the same thing for a lot of characters, including Zhang Yichao's many, many daughters. There's one. And the question really is, what are we looking for here? We could just grab a bunch of high skill characters and see where we can use them. Fertility doesn't really matter. We also need to make sure it's matrilineal so they come to us, or else we're marrying her away. I'm not going to marry for claims. That's kind of useless for us. Let's look for a few knights first. 18, slightly worse. But also quite young. interesting traits. 17-year-old from a decent clan. The only living member of this clan. Forest fighter. I don't think there's going to be that many forests near Prefect Zhang court in Tanzhou. Yes, I actually probably like him better. I mean, the Zhang house will get a lot of kids. We'll grab them when they're young. Ooh, a Tang. But let's grab him first. Maybe we look for some high learning character. She's how old? 45, 44, 20. I don't care about traits that much, congenital traits, because it's not like they're marrying into my clan. Possessed. We want something fun. Ah, Chinese albino. They do exist. I mean, since he's willing. We're happy to take in quite a few characters. We'll probably swap it around a little bit. The thing is, I don't know exactly what I need, but we're going to try to get a good balance of things. Also the only one in the clan. Okay. We can also marry our distant relatives who are single at 41, which just makes no sense as well. Maybe here we want to consider a little bit of traits. The one that we didn't take, but maybe he can take a Yao wife. I mean, if we care about it at all, we can be like, we only want to see Han wives. Clubfoot. Makes me think about the foot binding. Got a robust potential. Got a giant. You can have fun things in this game for sure. I'm not going to marry him to a courtier because she can be used to marry someone else and we can grab them. Such even stats. One thing I did notice is that our wives, the Emperor's wife, can't be used as a court member, a council member to boost the Emperor's stats, or our stats. Is a little odd. Yeah, this is not good. But I guess it's just his issue. It's not really my issue. It's not like I'm losing this. Oh? Why? That is weird. Or, like no house for him at all? Is he because he's unlanded? We have our sister, who's 41 now. Please get a husband. If we do this, the choices go down. We can marry her away, technically. Try to get a governor to like us. We would prefer younger governors. Prefect, not so bad. Let's say we want to grab someone in. See, we've seen this list already, but they're just finding people who are closer to her age. We probably have to find someone in a house to even get this. Right, she tanks prestige, her prestige, not us. And they'll be born into our house. If that's the case, maybe we want to look for someone with a good congenital trait? Comely doesn't sound that amazing. Quick. Feeble? Where are the good ones? We seem to have a lot of negative. He's lowborn, though. I mean, sucks for her, but... Does lowborn have an issue with the house? Oh no, there'll still be our house. $41.38. Sounds pretty good, and we get a character that's not half bad. Gambler, okay, sure. $41. Yeah, can we get some court member who actually will like us? Quite the schemer. $37 years young. Sure, let's grab him. Let's sort by age. Let's try to marry away the old ones first. Ah, speaking of an old one. Can we still marry her? Ourself? No, thank you. A giant, you say? Quite a few giants available. I mean, she's not going to produce any kids at this age. Just whether we want a giant or not. $14. Pretty good stats, to be honest. Giant Hall. Despite so many daughters, you're not married? Guess at this point we're just... Oh, let me turn this off. Then we gotta make sure we don't send them out to the same person. Grab a female giant. That's not bad. I mean, he's gonna die of old age soon. She'll be around. We'll see what we want to do with her. Just want to fill our court with interesting characters at this point. I believe I sent a marriage proposal for her. We have another relative here who is 60, who's currently our knight, or our champion. Same thing. Oh, a foreigner. A Sagadan. And a young child. Very interesting icon. Sure, we'll grab her into the family. Or into the court, at least. Li Ying is 59. Yeah, not even sure exactly what we're looking for at this point. A lunatic. Could be fun. Let's just use her. 51. Not too bad. Now, none of you have any interesting congenital trait except for the albino from Tang. Comely boy. Sure. Alright, we'll stop with her and see what happens once these characters come. So we'll actually unpause. We'll actually play the game. Accept the marriage. We're just gonna let all of them say yes, and we'll have a bunch of new characters. Alright, I think that might be all of them. Our brother's marriage, actually, this one's actually important, as he's technically third in line to inherit. But I don't know what I want to give him. That's the thing. Even though he's third in line to inherit, I don't think we're going to get to that point. I do have a son. We're not going to send our kid to university. So we want his endorsement. Is there a particular reason why the Minister of the Right's opinion matters more? We don't have a scheme, ongoing scheme. We haven't looked at intrigue yet. But essentially, we can always do a personal scheme, a hostile scheme, and a political scheme. And we haven't chosen any of them to do. So if we want, basically, we're trying to sway him so that he'll like us more. I don't see why... Yeah, I don't see why he's the one we have to try to tackle here. I wonder if there's anything about religion here. No, they don't care the fact we're Buddhists. It's mostly just our terrible traits. Alright, now that we have a couple more characters, let's see who wants to find us more wives. Who's not terrible at this? Everyone's terrible at this. What is the factor that diplomacy and learning skills? We can't find a character with high diploma. Let's look for a marriage. We can do this. Yeah, we're gonna do it by rank, on age. I think the last person who was not married is you. Oh, you're a guest. Nice to see everyone with husbands and one of the girls. There we go. We want high diplomacy and learning, I believe. That can be matrilineal. So the first and the last one. This sums up to 30. He has low health though. 29, quite young. You're the one. All right. Raising an army. I mean, do your thing. Oh. I thought the flag was part of the icon on the side. I did not marry myself, right? No, that's not what I want to do. I need to find a wife. What do I have in my inventory? Nothing, right? Okay, we don't get to start with one. Which means I need to find one of these. The aptitude is going to be learning skill. She also gets shy. Quite a few bonuses. The new character we found here. Position is called Keeper of Treasures for us, which is right. Where's the other keeper? There it is. Actions include has a chance to improve the artifact that we have. We can exhibit it to build stewardship for ourselves. Court Grandeur, chance of legend spreading. Cost more. I mean, they're all going to cost prestige. I don't think we actually need this position right now. Why is she terrible, though? Her diplomacy is 17, her learning is 9. It's divided by... Oh, there's... Diplomacy is divided by 4. Learning is divided by 3. So we actually want to find someone with super high learning. Which one of you are single? You're a guest. Can't marry you off right now. Alright. Maybe you be the one. We want super high learning and respectable... it's not super high learning. Divided by 3, 6 point something, plus divided by 4, 3 point something, about 9. Don't think that's going to help us. Let's look for a female character who needs a husband. See if we can find some. 22 and 11. I think we got a winner. Your job is going to be finding the Emperor concubines. How does it sound? Matchmaker on all fronts. We're finding matches so that we can... Wait, why? It has to be... Has to be female. Okay, that changes things. It has to be you. 17 and 12, right? We don't have anyone remotely higher. The trait stuff I can't really guess. I don't think I got a wife. So the girls have to be in our court. Unless we have a... So he's blocking us. Usually we can just click here to find a wife. How would I do this now? Are all of our wives... And the fact that we don't have "you're not married" here feels like we're safe. Feels like we have a wife. Anyways. Alright, we got a faction targeting us. There's a populist faction. It's gonna rise. Gonna rise throughout time. This is not so terrifying yet. Yeah, not at all. People's gonna join him. And then we're gonna have other issues. I am gonna hold court. Why are we down here? Saucy readings? Ah, okay. Let's see what we can do about this. Ban the book. And we gain dread. We gain piety. Children educated at your court more likely to develop pensive, chaste, and zealous. And this minister will like us more. We gain 300 lifestyle learning. 6 court grandeur. Curious, lustful, cynical. Intrigue, you gain confident lover for 15 years. The attraction opinion actually sounds pretty nice. The minister becomes more disappointed in us. Make it disappear and pretend I saw nothing. So this is a lazy choice. This aligns with our lazy trait, which is why we de-stress when we pick this. Basically, he's being tattletaled on, but this doesn't really impact him. Really, just do I want 30 points of opinion on him? I actually think this purification of the lusty texts, the saucy reading, sounds like a pretty good outcome. So we went down there. Zong wants to write. He's a physician, actually. 22 learning. Ooh, we already assigned one. He would make for a good physician. Also a Taoist. Let me invite him to the court. Looks like we don't have... Hopefully we don't need to use anything. We pay 25 to get a new character. He feels quite useful. Do I want to sponsor his writing to get a book for us? Let's first do this. He's still young. Our current... The issue is our current... I can't really remove her, I don't think so, without having a cost here. It'll cost me 200 prestige to shift her out of this position. Right, the excellent stat here. I think she has potential to become quite good. 20 points, you know, it'll take her a couple tries to fix things. Yeah, it's gonna cost us, that's the thing. So I don't think we want to do this. I handpick a girl. 5.25. The problem is the diligent trait is weighed so heavily here. Alright, half-sister. Go for it. That's the cost. And your job is to select palace beauties. She can also keep us healthier. Or discover... Okay. Let's just do this. That's what we hired her for. I also kind of want to mentor. I feel like the stat increase is going to be massive. So scholar lifestyle, can't be busy ruling, have high merit rank, and high learning skills. Why is everyone bad? I guess poor. I mean, we're getting 2 points each from a poor character. Then I don't think it's worth it at the cost. It's more of a wanderer job. Administrators, courtier and guest opinion, which I think is pretty important. Legitimacy boost. And they can do organized courts. Increased aptitude of other court positions. That feels useful. Okay, and we have some good governors for this. Despite being busy ruling. I mean, there's 50 points versus they do the same thing. I feel like I can get his opinion up by putting him here too. With a +7, he's in our court versus him who just do not like us. Or we pick someone who already like us and then we don't have to worry about them. No, they're actually not a big threat. Well, in that case, I'm gonna give him the job. Wet nurse. We do have a kid, which is something we do have to worry about. We don't want him to die. Oh, we are gonna hunt quite a bit. Do we want a supervisor of the hunts? Let's wait till we pick up a hunting trait. Right now we don't have one. We might not pick up one. So if we really want to build, this might be worth it. Do we have anyone who's really good at it? Ooh, we do. 30% construction time. That could be a pretty big deal, to be honest. Opinion doesn't really matter that much at this point. 60 point, 70 point. I mean, the bonus is the same. I'm gonna pick him. We are gonna build pretty soon. Inspire, no thanks. Increase opinion gain when hosting a feast. As a roleplay, Li Sui loved housing musicians. There's probably over 500 musicians he hired in the court. So I think this is a must-have for us. Oh, by the way, we didn't pick what we want them to do. I want him to do organized court. Ooh. I need this first. I need her to pick up novice physician. It costs more to do the tasks. You don't have to do the task, but I kind of want them to do it. Development growth in realm capital. That is useful. We are only at 30. In the long run, this will help us make more money. Yeah, I think we do that. Get ourselves a master of music, diplomacy skill. Oh, perfect trait. 10% stress loss, court grandeur +3, opinion. That's what we want. And he can only do bolster legitimacy for some reason. We don't have any legends. Okay, that's fine. This must also be... Oh, he can help stop poisoning. Okay. I guess same thing with food taster. Makes sense. Okay, I'm happy with the court that we have right now. I mean, we can think about other positions, but at this point I think we're okay with that. And we saw the inspired. I don't want to really sponsor him. It's going to cost us how much? 242. No thanks. No, of course he will accept. You'd be a fool to not accept that. Anything else? You can transfer the prefect. He gets a +40. Okay, because he's my... Do I lose the character? That's the thing. No, he's my vassal. It doesn't really matter. I'm just giving land that belongs to his bigger land. Like, this piece should be part of this. I think that's what we're talking about here. So basically, instead of being our vassal, he's going to become his vassal, and we have less vassal to deal with. I like this. This is good. Solid. More of that would be great. We can start a great project. The question is, which one do we want to do? I mean, develop communities. If started by a minister. Everything costs money. But I believe the project uses the treasury fund and not my money. Starting cost 1,000. Mandatory contribution cost. This thing is pricey. But what if I pick the capital for this? I feel like this is good for us. Every holding adds or upgrades a building. Wait, automatically? I don't get to pick? It's not like I do this to make them do it more? We can increase the development growth by 50. Well, the thing is how long this thing lasts. We gain 250 merit, not something we need. Influence sounds good, actually. All right, let's say we fund that one. Okay, it needs to be a governor for that one. Okay, so let's say we do this. So we got a project going as well. All right, let's hold court. Let me turn this on a little bit. Niku contribution to start. Do I have to contribute the other one as well? I guess we'll do it. So they won't start until the contributions are met, the mandatory ones. And this is how our treasury is depleted. Complete in 10 years, sure. Question on the building? Does it... Do we automatically get a building at the end of 10 years? I'm guessing that's what's going to happen here. We have all those positions. If we're going to continue our feasting tradition. $127. Feels like this is a roleplay choice. Oh, this also reduces, but 10%. A little bit less starting. So like if you just look on paper right here, the mansion seems like a great choice. A little bit longer to build. That's like the only downside that you can see. By the end game, we're looking at sort of a different set of stuff. Holding tax, 2.26. Manor's gonna beat that out. I feel like the manor is what we're probably gonna go for here. Water management. Influence. Okay, also something that actually mattered quite a bit for us, but we're not really gonna get money here. I'm down for the manor. I mean, this also has... Well, hospice also has the plague resistance factor. You can see our current resistance is 10. Being on the Silk Road reduces by 5. Makes sense. Open trade. Down the line, 1.3. No, we're going to go manor house. Let's build it. And let's see what else we can do. We can hold court. Speaking of that, before we jump into that, we are going to look at our culture for a moment. So we are the Hun culture. Ceremonious. And we get more prestige for this. Title creation costs a little bit less. House opinion goes up. We got court grandeur on top of that. We're part of the Chinese heritage. And then men only for commanders and champions. We speak Chinese. Soon the whole world will speak Chinese. The game balance for language, I think it's based on, like, the spread of the language is based on how grand your court is. Like, logically, I think they're trying to mimic, like, say, the French court. So a lot of Europeans spoke French. And now that we have the grandest court in the world will speak Chinese very soon, which is kind of weird, but we'll see how that goes. Not the easiest language to learn. Traditions, what really sets us apart, and the bonuses that we have. We have scholar officials and monthly lifestyle experience skills up for this. For the learning, makes sense. Can use adopt Confucianism decision. Can author book. We can learn Chinese easier. Better learning language. Loyal trade additional bonuses, makes sense. And loyal is more common. Vassals of this culture do not consider differing faith or culture when joining. Okay. More open to acceptance, I guess. Art of War. Repeating crossbow innovation. So that's the tech. We are the culture head as the emperor, so we get to decide what tech we research. We'll take a look at that. Unique unit. 斩马刀. So 斩马刀is a weapon, a very thin and very long blade used to kill horses. So this is an anti-cavalry infantry with a special weapon. 步人甲, the second unique man arm. 步 means to take steps. 人 means person. 甲 means armor. So infantry armor, literally. It's an armor that was developed during the Song Dynasty, I believe. It's very, very heavy. Probably the heaviest armor that was around throughout the world. Even if you like consider like European plate mail and scale mail, all of that combined, I think in terms of Song scale, it was like over 50 kilos. Just that armor. It's made up of over, not 2,000, I think 1,800 something pieces of thin leaf shape. I mean, it's basically just the long, thin rectangle of metal that's stringed together to form the armor. You can think of it just as heavy infantry. Took a lot of inspiration from 铁浮陀, which is the cavalry that we have. That's basically the heavily armored cavalry, head to toe, stack armor, very iconic during the Liao period, used by the Liao forces more than, say, the Song, but it was definitely adapted. And also with 铁浮陀, the horse is also covered in that armor. But if you compare the 铁浮陀 armor to the 步人甲 armor, the 步人甲 armor is going to be stronger because the infantry is designed to carry a little bit more weight. So it's going to be the heavier version with more pieces of the plate, essentially. You don't want that much weight on the horse, so it's going to be a lighter version of that heavy armor, but they're both super heavy armor. Guardians can be transferred after... Guardians can transfer commander traits to their wards. Okay. Still very warlike. We got the sort of civil side of things and then the war side as well. Learning skill can increase candidate scores for military provinces. We are not going to be taking tests, so that's not going to be super relevant for us, but interesting. Marshal per merit ranking, so having high merit can also boost our marshal. All right, heavy infantry is kind of the specialty. Cultural primacy. Learning education traits and scholar traits give cultural fascination progress. Yeah, if we actually want to really push our tech in the future, we definitely want to get one of our future leaders to be sort of learning focused. I think the current one's kind of hopeless for that, so we're just going to play along with what we have. Piety per legitimacy level goes up. Okay, just a lot of different bonuses. Court machination. We got the hegemon tier. Gender laws, 20 concubines. I mean, that's for the emperor. The regular ones have 3. That type of social acceptance, I mean, yes, you hear like the term 后宫佳丽3000 when they talk about emperor's concubine, where like they have 3,000 concubines in their back court. That's a figure of speech. Oftentimes when you want to say countless, you can either go with the van, which means 10,000, or 3,000, 3000. That's used often in poetry to describe a waterfall that falls down from the heaven for 3,000 li. that is just saying it's a very long distance, not literal. When they say Confucius had 3,000 students, that's not literal. That just means he had a lot of countless students. So when they say the emperor has countless concubines, it doesn't mean he actually has 3,000 concubines. Some emperor has very few. There has been even historically emperors with 0 concubines. Like he practiced just one empress. And there's also emperors who had over 10,000 concubines. Why he had time for that? Not really. The thing is, like, if you look at the founding emperor of Jin Dynasty, for example, he ended the 3 kingdoms. He took the concubine court from the kingdoms he conquered and just adapted into his court. So he ended up with like so many concubines, he doesn't even know them. And the way he decides who he wants to spend the night with was he had this little goat cart. He was celebrating life at that point. You know, as the emperor who finished off the 3 kingdom, you're super delighted. You're just enjoying life at that point. There's not much to motivate you at this point. You peaked and it doesn't seem like you do anything else. And the goat cart, he's going to ride the thing, and wherever the goat stopped, he will stay at that, room in the palace with whatever concubines in that room. And when the ladies, the concubines, know this is what the emperor does, they started to sprinkle salt on the vegetation in front of their little room in the rear palace. And then the goats who want to have the salt in their diet would stop at those places to kind of attract the emperor to go to them. So fun stories like that did happen historically. So you had emperors with tons and tons of concubines. You also had ones with almost no concubines. So it depends on the emperor. But socially speaking, if there's no limit to concubines, but there's like the standard social acceptance, higher tier officials would obviously be sort of allowed to have more. It would be acceptable. If you are just sort of a commoner, you have money, let's say you're a merchant, yes, you can afford more concubines, but you would actually be kind of judged socially if you do. And if you overstep, let's say you're a wealthy merchant in a town, but like the local governor only has 6 concubines, and you end up with 8. That's not a good look in terms of social status, so you wouldn't do that. Anyways, so that's why the limitation here, I mean, it's a little bit arbitrary for game design, but it does have some roots. We have the eunuch and the beardless eunuch trait. Why are there 2? I mean, theoretically, shouldn't all eunuch be beardless eunuch? If they cut off that part, the hormones, it's kind of hard to grow a beard at that point. But anyways, they are more powerful agent and scheme. That makes sense. I mean, they're very close to the emperor. Cultivation. Ooh. Are they going to be ever like Taoist ascension in the game? To cultivate and try to like ascend to immortal status? I guess that doesn't make any sense, but it increases your life expectancy, which is the goal of cultist cultivation. But the goal is to hit infinity, right? It's not just 5 more years. Intensive farming, yes, very representative of Chinese culture. You can see how like different dynasties have different shaped borders, and like the Hexi region, for example. I mean, this is not a good map for it, but like Hexi right here, you see how it's a very thin strip that goes out. Like usually if you see the Han Dynasty map, even the Tang Dynasty map, it just kind of goes here and you're wondering like, why didn't they conquer this or this? And the answer is that's desert and that's mountain. You can't farm those land. But the Hexi corridor is this nice little river valley and you can actually farm here. So the Han population wanted this land. And, you know, areas into Korea, usually borders right here. That's where the mountains start. This is a giant plain, very fertile. That's where the Han population stopped. And then like conquering more didn't feel beneficial because you can't farm. We have the content trait more common. Man at arms going to cost a little bit more. Development in farmland is going to go higher. Actually have higher holding taxes in farmland. Okay, we might take that into consideration when we build stuff. Terrace hill farming, I guess that's kind of the representation with the terrace hill. We can change things if we don't like certain things. I'm probably not doing that. Like we saw the conditions for reforming different culture elements, not really our thing. happy with what we have, we'll just play around that. Now, this is the tech tree. We're currently in tribal era. This is like historical periods. Like we're starting with the earliest start date, so that's why we're here. Once we research enough and reach 900 AD, we'll move on to the next era. And let's see what tech we have. Things we already learned, and things we're researching right now. Quilted armor. Now, as the culture head, only the leader of the culture can decide what your culture is researching. So it's actually kind of good that we are the culture head as emperor, and we get to pick what we're researching. Now, unfortunately, it's also based on the learning stat of the culture head, how fast you can get these. And we're not dumb. Like compared to our stewardship, we actually have a bit of learning stat, but obviously it's not super high, so don't expect us to go super fast here. And these are the long game, right? The reason why this sounds so high and this is like 74 is because we're not focused on it. I think passively there are like some very, very small gains to these as you go for all the tech, but the one you're focused on gets a bonus, and that's why this one's fast. We don't have to do this one. This is what's given to us by the game. Now you can see the ones that are not available. The reason is some are location based. Like if we don't have access to elephants, for example, we are not in Southeast Asia or India, we can't learn this. But if we have counties there, then this becomes available to us. Just like we have our unique one, 神臂弓. 神臂 means like the godly arm. Just goes, I mean, I don't know why they have this as the repeating crossbow. Actually, no, that is the repeating crossbow because, no, the godly arm not as in the person's arm, but the arms of the crossbow. Like the tension that you can take and how strong the crossbow is. Which makes sense. Chinese crossbow has been very powerful in terms of tech, even during the Qin period, way before this. Like in the BC era, the crossbow tech has gone very high. What else do we know? So a lot of crossbow stuff. Hung Tu, which is basically just like pack earth or rammed earth, where you basically condense soil by hitting it repeatedly once you pack it in. And it's the core to city walls. Like, yes, you see like the brick walls, but in between those brick is hung Tu. That's usually the first step of building a wall. You cover it in brick to make sure it doesn't get wet. So that's basically a main defensive tech there. Also very, very old. Champa rice. So this is like the rice paddy fields. Because you can plant rice in, I mean, right now when you think of how rice is planted, you default to rice paddy fields. But it was actually a dry crop. Like if you go south, have the paddy fields, the different way to plant it with a different breed. Oh, this is the one being spread. Okay. I guess this is our Silk Road one. Okay, so we don't have a lot of choices, right? It's basically we get the rice. It's more wetland focused. Doesn't make sense for us. We're not in the south. We're in Chang'an. We can get banners, vassal contracts. We're not in that type of government, I feel like. And we're not doing horde. I feel like this is the good default choice, actually. And then we know pretty much everything already. I mean, Han Chinese, very advanced civilization in this time period. Yeah, we'll just do that. There's more thing to look forward to. Arch saddles, yes. Stirrup just got invented Stirrup got introduced in China just a few centuries ago. Horseshoes not yet invented. Cloud ladders was around though. Yunti. I guess this is replacing the standard one, but like this is a siege ladder. You pack units on here and then you fold it up to match the wall height. Double entry bookkeeping. Okay. Grenades. Right, fire medicine. 火药. What Chinese people call gunpowder. Like if you translate the two character literally. Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to as we move later on, but I think that's pretty much it. We got the buildings. Let's hold court. Alright, in order to be a successful ruler, I must actually rule. I mean, tell that to Li Tui in history. By officially inviting all my subjects to travel to my estate and petition me for aid, I'll be able to stay informed, sway the balance of power, and visibly show the world that I am in charge. Alright, you'll increase your court grandeur. I mean, it's ready super high. It's going to be fine. Legitimacy is what we're looking for, and also to interact with our guests, influence on some situations, and try to build good opinions here. We can only do this once every 5 years. It will cost us 150 prestige, which we do have, and they will notify us again whenever the 5 years is up so that we are ready to do it. Alright, sitting on my throne, I gesture for my guards to open the doors of the hall. A stream of people file in. This did not happen historically, but sure. Some line up in front of my throne while others move out of the way so they can simply observe the proceeding. After several moments, all movement in the chamber has ceased. All faces turn towards my... And I count 3 per... Yeah, I think it's usually 3 per hold court. Cancel it? No. Let's listen to the first one. A blue-dressed prefect. I think blue tier for prefect is probably pretty low, right? Because prefect, well, blue tier should be the lowest 2 tiers, tier 8 and 9. And prefects are inspectors of the emperor. They're sent out every year to go out there to check the local officials, see if they're doing the right things. They write a report. They come back to the palace every year to report what they have found. So they're sort of the eyes and the ears for the emperor. No real physical power, but they do have huge influence at court, which makes them quite useful. They're from Jizhou, which should be in northern China. His eye wildly admiring the wealth that one can afford in the capital. I mean, as a prefect, you're back every year, so it shouldn't be a surprise. It's no secret that China is the envy of the world. My sovereign lord, but not all your realm is so fortunate. In Jizhou, for instance, the fields are barren. With nary a soul to tend them, would it not be grand if the entire realm... Yes, it would, but what do you want me to do? Every county with at least 10 below our level gains thriving development. We lose 265. We don't have that type of money. Oh, this is treasury money. That icon is treasury money. We do have that type of money. But we gain this, which is a no-no. No-no. Have your subject try living in Chan. We hamper all the ones that are below us by at least 10. And we thrive. I hate both of these decisions, right? I don't want... I mean, they're our vassal's land, but our vassal also pays us money, right? So we don't want them to not develop. And I don't really need a boost. I think our county is going to be fine in the long run. We'll hit 100 pretty quick. I'm just going to bypass this one. So if we just cancel out the first guy, we don't get the next 2. Interesting. I mean, sure. That decision was a little bit too extreme for me. So with that out of the way, we don't have anything pressing, at least not pressing by game standard, or else it'd be alerted to us. There's obviously a ton of other things we can look at, but now how you play the game is essentially you let the time go, and then things will pop up and you make decisions as you go. We also have find secret going on. Hopefully we'll find some new secret. Seems like we're affording this quite well because... no, this is coming from treasury. Okay. So it's not even coming from our personal income, which I feel pretty good about. Yes, we are one greedy emperor. I mean, I always give them more money. It's not a big deal. And then we have one faction against us that's quite weak. Let's host a party soon. Why don't we have a decision for... Oh no, it's under activities now, right? Alright, we'll end our episode here. Next time we'll throw ourselves a feast. Just like how Li Tui would. Celebrate setting everything and ready to continue from here. Now, I don't think... we're married. Oh, we have a concubine. Oh, nice. I think our keeper harem is starting to do their job. Alright, hopefully we'll have some more kids as security. Not so sure about this one. This one we also have to educate. And then we have to see if we want to be... I'm not going to designate him as heir. Costly. Cost influence too, huh? Yeah, but we'll educate him a little bit and hopefully set his traits as he grow up. Something to look forward to. Wait. She's the mom. But why is she not... Why is she not the wife? I mean, we can do this. Let's do it. There we go. Let's give our son a mom, a complete family. And we'll come back here, let the clock run, and see what event pops up. So until then, bye.